Drones can show us even more from the air than a satellite from space. They can be over the mouth of a volcano, in the ocean, over huge waves, in fog, and where roads have disappeared. This selection of videos will amaze you more than any movie. This is the Eternity Lab channel, a laboratory of ever-relevant content.
Eternity Lab.
The tornado caused severe damage to buildings, trees, and power lines in the city of Taylorville in Illinois. This drone footage, filmed the next day, shows the overall destruction. About 20 people were reportedly injured in the tornado, and at least 100 homes were damaged or destroyed. And it was just one of 12 tornadoes that hit the region in those days. Drone footage shows streams of water rushing from Barron Falls in Queensland after tropical cyclone Imogen swept through the state. According to the Australian Meteorological Service, in some parts of the state, up to 300 mm of precipitation falls in 6 hours. It is not surprising that such a mass of water rushes further. And where can it go? Only fall. In September 2021, a powerful tornado struck the town of Malacca Hill, New Jersey. The maximum wind speed reached 150 miles per hour, which corresponds to the third level of typhoons on the Fujita 5-point scale. And it was just one of 7 tornadoes that swept through New Jersey and Pennsylvania. The tale of Hurricane Ida. Catastrophic damage, destruction, and dozens of victims. This is what they left behind. From a drone, the picture is seen more completely. On August 29, 2021, heavy rain from Hurricane Ida flooded sections of Gulf Shores in Alabama. A state of emergency has been declared in Mobile County due to storm surges and rising water. Drone footage filmed by a local resident shows only part of the flooding. In some parts of the district, roads and streets were completely flooded. Residents were advised to refrain from traveling and where to go if there is no road anymore. When the road becomes a riverbed, you have to be patient. Drone footage shows extensive flooding on 2 highways in the coastal area of North Carolina after a flurry of rainfall. And here drone footage offers the perspective of a dramatic scene that unfolded in an area called Rat Creek. Inclement weather, debris, flooding, and landslides were to blame. This glorious team destroyed the scenic route and construction effort in a matter of hours, blocking the passage through Big Sur from Southern California to Northern California because there are no detours on this mountain pass. There is probably nothing worse when fire and flood occur at the same time. You may ask, how is this possible? Look, first, due to severe flooding in the state of New Jersey, dozens of cities were flooded. And then came Hurricane Ida, which staged a real Armageddon in the town of Manville. After the gas explosion, several houses and a banquet hall caught fire, but firefighters had difficulty reaching them due to severe flooding throughout the area. This drone footage shows thick smoke pouring out of the house, while the fire destroys the roof. When you are waiting for the fire to be delivered, help from heaven can be overdone. In eastern Victoria, after a series of bushfires, they were replaced by another disaster: too much water. 220 fires are no joke. Apparently, that's why the Celestial Chancellery sent a huge amount of rainfall to extinguish them. So the authorities had to reimpose a state of emergency, this time due to flooding. And residents of coastal areas evacuated higher. This drone footage shows how conditions are changing in the Gippsland area. First, in an earlier footage, we see a smoky sky, and in the next video, water is rapidly ejected from the dam, inflating the river downstream. Lightning can cause long-lasting effects, as happened in Utah. The fire, after being struck by lightning, destroyed 120 hectares of land, and clouds of smoke were visible from a long distance. Firefighters continued to fight the extensive fire in Colorado's Summit County, and evacuation orders were issued for residents in some parts of the county. This drone footage shows a helicopter tanker refueling with water at the North Pond in Silverton. At the time of the air fire attack, the fire zone was closed to drone flights. If you want to see what a wildfire is like that blows the wind over an entire state, it's time to send a drone there. A state of emergency was declared in Colorado after winds of up to 115 mph intensified wildfires and carried them to the southeast. This situation led to the sudden evacuation of thousands of residents as conditions were deemed life-threatening. Now you understand how powerful this element is: fire and wind in a duet. And then, when the wind died down and created the conditions for a unique opportunity, firefighters used the tactic of counterfire to extinguish the fire near the city of Bakersfield. A plan was devised to direct the fire from the surrounding roads to the main source of the flames, to destroy all vegetation in between, simply to prevent it from spreading further. Thus, the fire was quickly localized and its potential spread to a wider area was avoided. More than 70 residents of Italy have been evacuated from their homes after a fire engulfed the roof in the historic center of Turin. Firefighters were still on the scene a day later. Drone footage shows emergency responders battling the fire and ladders huddled around a 5-story building in Via Vansilia. Emergency services used a drone to analyze the consequences of a fire in a multi-story residential building in Valencia. According to Spanish media reports, as a result of the devastating fire, at least 10 people became its victims. 15 people needed medical care. It happened in Cuba. A lightning strike caused a major fire in an oil tank. Dozens of people were injured, 17 were missing, and 77 people were injured. Among the missing were mainly firefighters who worked at the scene. The Cuban president thanked Mexico and Venezuela for their assistance, and the United States for technical advice. But such a fire has threatened the electricity supply of the island, which is already experiencing an energy crisis. This drone footage filmed chemical water gushing out of a previously clogged well in Texas. The fountain is half the trouble. The fact is that it filled the surroundings with the smell of rotten eggs. And this was the 8th time in a year that a so-called ownerless well in West Texas burst out, spewing industrial water. In the Las Calaveras district of Guatemala, a landslide demolished several houses. At least 6 people were missing, and local residents said the landslide felt like an earthquake due to the force of ground movement. According to local media, 60 people were evacuated from the area due to the danger of a repeat of the incident. The drone filmed how it looks from above. The residential area was simply blown down as if it had never existed. The drone took time-lapse footage of the dust cloud from a bird's-eye view. A dust storm is approaching from the south on Casa Grande, a city in Arizona. The Weather Service warned residents about this storm, so the author of the video took an advantageous position. Drones can even be where a ship will not pass. Footage from a marine drone captured the view from inside Hurricane Milton as it moved over the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. According to the Atlantic Meteorological Laboratory, the sail drone unmanned device reported waves up to 8.5 minutes high and wind gusts up to 122 kilometers. The observer took a convenient place in time to shoot from a drone a colorful action involving storm clouds, sunlight, and rainbows at the same time, which he called a very photogenic storm. South Padre Island in Texas is preparing for coastal flooding as Hurricane Delta approaches its shores. In this drone recording, we see a phenomenon called a storm surge. Naturally, all the beaches were closed the day before. I think you have appreciated the disadvantages of living on the coast. A tropical storm is not a mushroom rain at all. This is what the coast of Sydney looks like when a severe cyclone hits it. More than 10 diatomos of the coastal area was simply washed away. This drone recording shows the damage caused to the surf club and beach facilities. On the Spanish island of La Palma, residents were concerned about the activity of the Cumbre Vieja volcano. A month after the first eruptions began, it was still active, spewing lava and ash. Authorities have launched drones over volcanic vents to calculate the speed and intensity of lava flows. Lava from the erupting volcano Cumbre Vieja on the same Spanish island of La Palma creates a new cape flowing into the Atlantic. The cone of the volcano partially collapsed, which led to a more powerful lava flow. The lava delta now stretches for more than 500 meters. In continuation of the eruption saga, a drone from the Spanish Institute of Geological and Mining filmed 2 lava flows erupting from the new vent of the Cumbre Vieja volcano. This was the 3rd source of volcanic activity on the island of La Palma. As a result, this path was made by a lava flow from the volcano of the island of La Palma. Drone footage helps to understand the trace of destruction left by it. It covered 892 hectares of the island. Over 2,000 buildings were destroyed by volcanic activity. Lava and ash continued to erupt from the volcano even after part of the main cone at the top of the Cumbre Vieja volcano collapsed. Since then, the island's inhabitants have been experiencing continuous volcanic and seismic activity. That's what it literally means to live like on a volcano, not a moment of peace. If you did not have time to see the solar eclipse on April 8, 2024, which could be observed in Mexico, the United States, and Canada, then we will show you how it was. The author of this video set up his drone for the time-lapse in time and received an author's film from the open-air cinema. Parts of Maine were plunged into darkness as a total solar eclipse occurred that Monday. Thanks to this time-lapse shooting, we can trace how the sky gradually darkens in the middle of a clear day. By the way, the temperature in the area dropped sharply by several degrees as the sun disappeared from view. It's not often that you see such a phenomenon with your own eyes, so we're lucky. Thick fog along the California coast created a stunning view and significantly slowed down the city's morning commute. Drone footage shows the beauty of the fog that enveloped residential areas along the coast in a fluffy white blanket. In this case, watching it from above is much more interesting than trying to get into the office blindly. The Western Australian police have introduced a new way to control the behavior of vacationers. When, due to the pandemic, residents were obliged to comply with the rules of social distancing, this did not mean a ban on beach holidays at all. Naturally, crowds of people rushed to the coasts to enjoy the warmth and swimming. Footage from a police drone captured a view from a height of one popular beach, where hundreds of sunbathers, surfers, and swimmers enjoy the weather and obediently follow the instructions of the authorities. After the winter storm in Missouri, up to 20 centimeters of snow fell, but not everyone could rejoice at it. One father of the family found a creative way to ask for help. He flew a drone to film him riding in the snow. "Snowy day, kids, go home, send help." Drones are great, not only at filming natural disasters. There is also positive work for them. A drone photographer in Utah captured a pack of dogs and a rider happily racing through scenic snowy valleys. The only thing missing is New Year's music and bells. The British Antarctic Survey announced that it would withdraw personnel from one of its research bases due to a dangerous crack that lay in the ice. All employees will leave the Halley base on the Brant ice shelf. The crack appeared at a distance of 17 km north of the station, which collects weather and climate data, as well as studies solar activity and its impact on Earth. A deep crack is perfectly visible. You understand that this means only one thing: the ice has broken, and this movement is possible only in one direction. A drone video from the Institute of Marine Research shows undulating edges of sea ice that formed due to hurricane winds. The author of the video witnessed this unusual phenomenon during an expedition to the Ross Sea in western Antarctica. Ice resembling dragon skin is a very rare and strange phenomenon that indicates that chaos has come to the cryosphere. By the way, in order to record this video, scientists from the expedition overcame winds at a speed of 120 km per hour. Thanks to them, we can see how ice forms during the Antarctic winter. In the city of Westbrook, Maine, USA, a bizarre ice disk was filmed on the river. A video shot with a drone shows how a perfectly round ice disk forms on the Presumpscot River in January. Like a saucer on the surface of a body of water, it first appeared in 2019. And then it was observed again in 2020. But without the drone, no one would pay any attention to this feature. The United Kingdom's first drone delivery service has been launched in the Orkney Islands in Scotland, the Postal Service. Together with a drone manufacturing company, carried out a daily mail delivery operation between the 3 islands of the Orkney Islands. During the COVID-19 outbreak in Shanghai, drones were used to broadcast testing messages. As the city was effectively closed, all emergency services were mobilized to organize alerts and comply with isolation rules. In this video published by Chinese fire services, a drone flies over the streets of Shanghai and announces testing, also warns residents against pandemonium. No one needs cues. Just imagine a metropolis of this magnitude, and you'll be inclined to obey the drone's instructions. Greek firefighters used a drone to deliver medicine to a small community affected by flooding. Despite the decrease in rainfall, the water level in central Greece was still rising. Footage released by the Greek Fire Brigade shows a drone flying over the flooded countryside to deliver medicine. As a result of the flooding, many residents of the remote area were injured and had to wait for evacuation on the roofs of their houses. San Francisco police have shown how to use a drone paired with automatic license plate recognition technology to catch suspects in car theft. The criminals, who were tracked down by the police, were spotted at the scene of the crime. The drone perfectly documented the fact of entering a red car, and now there is irrefutable evidence of how suspects break the window of a parked car and climb inside. All suspects were arrested. As they say, there is no trick against a drone. The Ohio-based company sells robotic dogs with flamethrowers attached to consumers in the United States. This invention, called the Thermotonator, similar to the name of Arnold Schwarzenegger's hero in the legendary saga of the Terminator, is sold at a price of $9,420 apiece. The dog flamethrower, according to the manufacturer, can shoot jets of fire up to 10 meters away at the touch of a button and is legal to purchase and use. It doesn't even count as a firearm. For those who find it not enough to have a jet of burning fuel or napalm fired at a distance of up to 15 meters, a flamethrower drone is available, which is freely available in 48 states of America. In the Californian town of Redondo Beach, they decided to celebrate Independence Day using drones. After new environmental regulations banned fireworks over water bodies, it was decided to create a light show using programmed drones. For sure, this has opened up much greater opportunities both for the organization of spectacles and for the protection of the environment. On June 5th, 2024, the night sky over the English port city of Portsmouth lit up with a spectacular drone show. It came on the eve of the 80th anniversary of the day of the landings, which changed the course of World War II. Drone footage shows stunning programming that showcases the fighters' shapes with the help of a variety of drones. The state of Oklahoma knows how to create a festive mood. In the midst of a local festival, drones took the form of Christmas characters in a spectacular light show. The festivities lasted several weeks, and more than 1,000 drones took part in the performances, making it one of the largest drone shows in the United States. The sand artist expressed support for the Australian women's national football team by painting a beautiful mural on the beach as the team prepared to play England in the semi-finals of the World Cup. Drone footage shows a huge drawing on the sand of the beach in Barwon Heads. This titanic work must have made it clear to the players how much they are respected and adored in their homeland. An Italian artist named Dario Gambarin painted the face of the French poet Charles Baudelaire on a field on the eve of the 200th anniversary of his birth. He managed to recreate the portrait on an area of 27,000 square meters using a tractor, a plow, and a harrow. The author has dedicated many previous works to prominent figures of the past and present, including Pope Francis, Leonardo da Vinci, and many others. Hundreds of tents were scattered around the grounds of Reading, England, because more than 100,000 people attended the 3-day music event. Drone footage shows the campsite's spontaneous kaleidoscope, trash and debris strewn across several fields near Richfield Avenue. After a massive party that lasted from Thursday to Monday, the cleanup has begun. But there are so many decent tents left that charities will now use them as reusable places to relax. It took a whole rescue operation to separate the tents from the garbage and the garbage from the tents. But now, the organizing company of the festival has found another business: reusable camping. Apparently, the music was just a pretext. More than 4 million pilgrims arrived in Mexico City to visit the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe. They were expecting annual divine revelations and messages from St. Mary, and so they filled the surrounding streets. Priests gathered in front of the altar to sing a traditional Mexican song at midnight from December 11 to 12, and were joined by thousands of pilgrims. The National Transportation Safety Bureau, NTSB, was investigating the collapse of a bridge in Baltimore. Drone footage shows the crew climbing aboard the vessel. The drone also captured the extent of the damage to the ship and the bridge and metal debris protruding from the water. Investigators interviewed crew members and collected evidence on board. This crash caused the deaths of 2 crew members, and the investigation could take several years. A World War II bomb suddenly exploded in Great Yarmouth while defusing it, police in England said. Emergency services and agencies announced a major incident after they found an unexploded ordnance weighing 250 kilos in the river. Army specialists worked all night to defuse the bomb, but it still served its purpose. By some miracle, no one was injured in the explosion. Perhaps the sappers knew something for sure, since they stayed away from it. This blue illumination was included in a tribute of respect and appreciation to the local police who were able to locate the missing child. Aerial footage shows how the city stadium, bridge, bell tower, and square glow. A girl named Cleo Smith disappeared from a tent at a campsite near the city of Carnarvon on the west coast of Australia. 18 days later, she was found locked in an empty house in the city of Carnarvon. The kidnapper turned out to be 36-year-old Terrence Kelly, a quiet man who always kept to himself, but everyone on the street knew him. Police compared the operation to finding a needle in a haystack. They examined thousands of pieces of information and messages from members of the public, and as a result, they were able to find the child alive and unharmed. In honor of this, the city turned on the illumination. While the animals at the Cincinnati Zoo enjoyed the fresh snow, staff worked on clearing paths for visitors to open by noon. During the night, up to 25 centimeters of snow fell in some areas of the region. The zoo shared footage of various animals rejoicing at this unexpected gift. Watch a rhinoceros get a nose full of snow. A kangaroo eats an icy treat, and a porcupine tastes fresh snow. Do animals have an amazing ability to enjoy life? We should learn from them. Drone footage captured the moment when the green sea turtle was released back into the wild. A female turtle about 35 years old was found washed ashore in Australia. She received the apt nickname Paddy and spent 2 weeks at the Adelaide Zoo to improve her health. We see rescuers releasing Paddy into the wild in Rapid Bay. The manager of the zoo's veterinary hospital made sure that the turtle immediately got its bearings and swam. Now they hope to track Paddy with the help of a satellite. It is true that we are responsible for those whom we have tamed. Scientists have long feared that Australia's green sea turtles face a demographic threat. Due to climate change, the temperature of the sand rises. This leads to the fact that females hatch much more than males. The consequences are obvious. The population may decrease. Drone studies on Heron Island in Queensland have shown that there are enough males and females willing to mate on both sides. This is good news for the Great Barrier Reef's green turtle population. Scientists clarified, female turtles need a huge amount of energy to reproduce, but they can reproduce for 5.7 years, and males only 2 to 3 years. Recently, off the coast of the Valdez Peninsula in Argentina, a southern right whale with a calf were seen swimming together. Sharks are common in California, but this time a group of pups were spotted in the ocean just outside of Solano Beach. The moment was captured with the help of a drone camera. Some meters from the shocked teenagers in the waves were surfers. The camera recorded a total of 11 young great white sharks, which could have been a very dangerous school. Due to warming waters and wildlife conservation efforts, sharks are moving north, which is why they are increasingly observed in these coastal waters. A flock of flamingos was spotted on Lake Karakol near Aktau in Kazakhstan. They stopped to rest during their migration to the south. Flamingos often appear near Aktau during migration, heading to the Kazan Nature Reserve in Turkmenistan or further to Iran. Stunning drone footage gives us the opportunity to appreciate the beauty of the huge number of pink birds swimming and flying near the surface of the lake. It is because of such moments that I love my land. The author of this video shared his impressions. Of course, you want to feel that feeling when you're just doing well. Yes, it really happens, and each of us deserves to enjoy the colors of nature and feel like we live on a beautiful planet. Let's take a look at the bright autumn colors of October that were captured by a drone in Houlton, Maine. These explosive shades of foliage change day by day like a fairy tale panel, and we were lucky enough to repeat this unique moment to observe the tranquility of nature in the off-season. Autumn is beautiful. Its essence is peace and tranquility before a long vacation. Do you like autumn colors? The Milwaukee County Zoo in Wisconsin posted this video on social media to highlight the fabulous fall colors. The video shot from a drone over the park resembles a designer bouquet. How exquisitely nature combines greenery with warm shades of gold and bronze. Another colorful autumn landscape shot from a bird's eye view. These are shots from Vermont, where you can see a variety of shades of foliage. The unusual atmosphere of this picture is given by the fog that envelops part of the landscape. That's all for today. The Eternity Lab channel was with you, a laboratory of ever-relevant content. See our previous episodes.